On Monday night, the 20th of October, Nuno Espirito Santo will take charge of his first game at home for West Ham at the London Stadium. After two promising away games, where we earned a decent point against Everton and fought hard, but hardly laid a glove on Arsenal, Nuno has had 2 weeks during the international break. He's had the opportunity to try and galvanise this West Ham side for the players that haven't been on international duty, to try and make them tougher to beat, tougher to play against, and hopefully get our first win that's been lacking for some time. But the game comes against a backdrop of fan discontent, which has resulted in a call to boycott the game. As United and a number of other fan groups have asked fans to boycott, given that this game is going to be televised live on TV. And the plan is that if thousands of empty seats are seen during the live broadcast, it will add further pressure on the West Ham board. Now, what I'm going to try and do is to look at this a little deeper, look at the whole issue, offer an analytical approach to the debate, laying out the background and the strategic logic behind the boycott, and whether there will be any likely impact on Nuno and the squad. I'll also consider the counter argument to the boycott, because there is always two sides to every story. But before I do any of that, if you're new to the West Ham Voice, or if you've watched the channel before but yet to become a subscriber, a QR code has just appeared in the top corner here. All you've got to do is click on that to take you to the subscribe page. Very easy to subscribe, costs nothing to become a subscriber of the channel. And if you enjoy the show, please do hit the like button at the end. And there's also a button called Hype, which is below the video. If you click on that, it actually allows other viewers to watch the video as well. And if you're feeling very generous, you can become a West Ham Voice member. Any money raised by the membership scheme is doubled by me. So every pound raised, I will add another pound. And all money goes to Prostate Cancer UK. And so far to date, we've raised £248. So thank you for that. So let's get into this. Let's remind ourselves why we're boycotting. What are the reasons to actually boycott this game? Hammers United is one of the most vocal and organised West Ham fan groups, have been pushing for this boycott as part of their ongoing No More BS campaign. Their argument is quite simple. After 15 years of current ownership, the promises made by the board have not really been delivered. After sending a vote of no confidence statement to the board, Hammers United have escalated their campaign by publishing an open letter addressed to Nuno and the coaching staff and the players. The letter explicitly explains why a boycott is being planned and repeatedly states that the protest is not aimed at Nuno, nor the coaching staff, and nor the players themselves. The letter actually welcomes Nuno to the club and wishes him and the players well for the future, whilst making it very clear that the boycott targets long-standing structural and governance issues at board level. Now, a brief reminder of the key grievances outlined by Hammers United include the following: broken promises around the benefits of what the London Stadium move was meant to give, the unfulfilled next level ambitions. We were told that the move from Upton Park to the London Stadium would catapult us into the next level. They actually promised not just European football, but that we would be challenging other Premier League teams to qualify for Champions League football. So basically, they were offering a stupid promise that no team can hand on heart promise to their fan base. We've only got to look at the likes of Man United in recent years as a prime example that even they can't promise their fans regular Champions League football, despite the number of times they won the trophy in the past. And then there's the whole thing about the stadium, not fit for purpose. Many fans feel that the stadium is soulless, the atmosphere is diluted because it's not designed to host football. Furthermore, tickets are being made available to those who just want to watch Premier League football. and they're not necessarily there to support West Ham. There's also the added issue of away fans being able to easily get tickets in the home end to support their team, which has created a matchday experience stripped of its West Ham identity. Then there's the whole thing about on-pitch ambition. Aside from the Conference League win in 2023, which was a magical night, the club has failed to consistently compete at the top end of the Premier League. The next level rhetoric has rung kind of hollow. In fact, there seems to have been a decline since our win in Prague 2 years ago. The Fan Advisory Board, who regularly meet with the board itself, issued that vote of no confidence in the club's leadership, citing failures in governance, failures in transparency, and a failure to respect the fan base itself. Hammers United argue that the board's response to that vote of no confidence was rather dismissive and condescending. Many feel that the club has lost its identity and culture. It's lost its East End roots, its working class identity, and its connection to the community. The protests are a way of saying that we're not just customers, that the fans are the lifeblood of this football team. And then there's a whole thing about accountability and ownership. After years of broken promises, fans want to hold the board accountable. And the boycott isn't just about one game, it's about building pressure for structural change, whether that's new owners, better governance, or genuine fan involvement in decision making. So, what do the protests and the upcoming boycott aim to achieve? Well, for Hammers United, the boycott is about sending a clear, visible message that enough is enough. They argue that empty seats on live television will speak louder than chants or banners. They're asking the fans not to attend the Brentford game, even if you've got a season ticket, or especially those who have the season ticket. And they're asking you to leave your seats empty at the game. Empty seats on live television will generate national attention and force the issue into mainstream coverage. The fact, actually, that the boycott is being planned has already partially achieved this. But empty seats will ramp up the ante. Don't use the ticket exchange. Passing tickets on just fills the stadium and weakens the impact of the boycott. Don't give your tickets away. The power is in empty seats. They're suggesting that you watch elsewhere, whether it's at home, in the pub, streaming. The idea is to support the team without supporting the board. Sustained, visible supporter dissent is intended to create pressure for governance change and meaningful dialogue with the owners. The boycott is designed to reassert supporter action and to demonstrate that fans are not just passive customers, but actual stakeholders. Hammers United point to examples of the past where Sheffield Wednesday fans staged a successful boycott, and it shows proof that collective action can work. But there are counter arguments to every issue, and let's be fair, not every West Ham fan is going to agree with the approach of boycott. And there are valid reasons why some fans will be at the London Stadium on Monday night. The obvious is supporting the players. It's the first thing that comes to mind. Many fans feel that boycotting punishes the players and not the board itself. This will be Nuno's first league game in charge at home, as I've said, after overseeing 2 away games. The last thing that he and many fans will want is to give the advantage to Brentford in such a crucial game. With the team struggling in the league, a reminder, we're currently second from bottom, some argue that players need the fans behind them more than ever. Crucially, dependent on results around us, a win against Brentford may take us not necessarily out of the bottom 3, but it will put us level on points with Brentford and a number of other teams, and it can be used, a win can be used as a morale boost that we can carry into the next game. There's a whole thing about the season ticket value and hitting the board in their pockets, but many fans have paid hundreds of pounds for their season tickets. Some fans have already planned their travel to the game from other parts of the UK. Some are even coming from abroad. So missing a game like this feels as if they're throwing money away. Many season ticket holders would correctly say that the club have already got their money for their season ticket. So it's not going to hurt the board financially in that respect. Furthermore, even if you're at the game, if you buy food and drink from the stands, that doesn't impact on the owners either, because they don't own the food and beverage contracts. So even that won't affect them. But what fans are concerned about is the split amongst the fan base, a fan division. Some worry that instead of uniting supporters, the boycott creates an us versus them scenario. And we've already seen signs of this on social media. Now, credit to Paul Colburn and Hammers United, who have stated quite clearly that it's down to every fan to decide whether they want to attend the game or not. There will be factions of the fan base who could turn and have turned on the fans who have said that they are going. Now, you've also got to ask the question, many fans do, is whether this board have been any worse at West Ham than other board members at other Premier League clubs. Some fans argue that whilst the board has flaws and have made bad decisions in the past, as well as making promises that they can never really keep, the club isn't in that big a crisis, and boycotts should be reserved for more desperate times. Plus, one big thing that many fans mention, there's no guarantee that even if these protests are successful in getting the board to sell up, a new owner or new owners isn't necessarily going to be any better than the ones we currently have. But fans who think this are not suggesting that we've just got to accept the status quo. Far from it. And I guess this is where I've got a bit of a problem with the whole protest. Imagine if you're an owner of a football club and the fans come to you and say, we're going to protest if you don't make changes as to how the club is run. But in the same breath, the fans also say, by the way, not only do we want you to make changes to improve things, but we also want you out of the club. We want you to sell up and leave. Now, why would any owner of that football club then be motivated to make any changes if you know it's never going to be enough for the fan base? If you know that they're going to want you to leave anyway? And this, for me, is a flaw in the protests. And I have discussed this with Paul again in the past. Now, I know the letter of no confidence did not initially make any demands for the owners to sell up. It talked about them stepping to one side and bringing in professional people to run the football inside of things. So that letter of no confidence didn't talk about them selling up and leaving. But it has since become a prominent part of the No More BS campaign. Now, I absolutely agree that there has to be change and that Sullivan and Brady step aside from the footballing side of this business. I've always said that Sullivan, we all know that Sullivan is not great at transfers. And Lady Brady has proved that she's not that great in hiring the right kind of manager either. What have we had in the last under 2 years? 4 different managers. And yes, eventually, I would love the board to sell up. But I maintain, what if new owners are as bad, if not worse, than the previous ones? Do we then go out and protest again? Now, many fans believe that there are alternative protest methods that could and should have been considered, and I am aware that there are different approaches being planned for future games. Some fans believe visible protests inside the stadium with banners, with chants, coordinated walkouts are more effective than empty seats. They argue that an absence can be spun by the board as apathy. And given that this game is on Monday night and being televised, there was always the danger of a low fan turnout anyway. Whereas noise inside the ground can't be ignored by the TV cameras. Then there are some fans who are advocating to take their seats 10 to 15 minutes after the game has kicked off. That way, When the ref blows the whistle to start the game, the TV cameras will still catch the thousands of empty seats to make clear that fans are unhappy with the way that this club is being run. And then 10 to 15 minutes into the game, the fans can take their seats to support the team, which could actually be a massive moral boost for the players. But there are also long-term issues that some fans are concerned about. Continued supporter unrest can affect player perceptions of this football club and may influence transfer decisions in the future. Why would a player that we're targeting want to be involved in this kind of environment? And then there's the whole thing with manager-board relationships. Public supporter pressure can either accelerate board engagement with the fans, or it can deepen tensions if the board perceive that protests are actually undermining club operations. So where do we stand? The truth is the fan base is divided over this. Some fans are angry, some are fatigued with all the negativity that surrounds West Ham United, and some are simply unsure of what they should do. What category do I fit in? Well, I'm simply fatigued. I'm tired of the constant negativity that surrounds this football club for longer than I now care to remember. It feels like a lifetime ago that we were celebrating the golden moment in Prague when we won that Conference League. But I guess this is why fans are upset again, because we didn't build on that success. The Fan Advisory Board's no confidence vote has certainly added weight to this boycott, but the club's vague reassurances haven't convinced that many people that things will improve. The question is whether enough fans will join in to make the boycott visible. Because let's be honest, if only a few thousand stay away, the message risks being lost. So what should you do? Well, where does that leave us? If you believe the board has failed us and that visible absence is the strongest message that you can send, then the boycott is your chance to take a stand. If you don't believe in the protests, then it is your right to decide whether you go to that game or not. If, like me, you want to back the protests, but at the same time want to be at the game, then maybe taking your seat after the game has started might be the best midway solution. There's no real single answer, right or wrong, to this. What matters is that we, as West Ham fans, stay united in demanding better. Whether you're in the stands or watching the game from home or at a pub, the important thing is that you care enough to make your voice heard in whichever manner you deem to be appropriate. It's a complicated, emotive moment where loyalty to the shirt meets anger at those running the club. The Hammers United open letter makes the target and the tone very clear. Support the new manager, coupled with relentless pressure on the board. And the televised boycott is a deliberate tactical choice in making a broader campaign statement. The boycott has real potential to generate a powerful image and sharpen the debate. But it could carry risks for the team on the night and may not itself produce boardroom change. We often talk about the fans being the 12th man, crucial to carry the team at any game, and many fans will feel that staying away may well give Brentford that advantage. What matters is whether supporters can sustain pressure long enough to force meaningful engagement, and whether the club's leadership responds with substantive change rather than rhetoric is yet to be seen. Either way, Monday night will tell us not only about West Ham, the football team under Nuno, but it will also tell us about the relationship between the club's ownership and the people who care about it most. You decide how you want to be part of this moment, make the choice that fits you, and act in a way that holds ownership accountable whilst protecting the team we love.